Home to the largest cattle population in the country. And now America is running low on cows. That's according to the Department of Agriculture.
Global elites call for a massive reduction in meat consumption, all in the name of fighting climate change. Cattle ranchers across the country are sounding the alarm, saying that global sustainability initiatives could cause millions of people to starve.
What if your next visit to the grocery store revealed empty meat aisles and sky-high prices for your favorite beef dishes? This isn't just a distant nightmare, it's a potential reality due to the looming cattle crisis. But why should you care? Well, ranchers are sounding the alarm. Our food systems are in serious danger. Cattle production has fallen to its lowest point in decades, and new diseases are rapidly spreading through US beef cow herds, threatening our entire food supply chain. So, does this mean that you should start hoarding groceries? Well, maybe not yet, but it's certainly time to pay attention. Let's break it down. Cattle farmers are deeply concerned about the future of our national livestock industry. They predict more price hikes for consumers and widespread shortages of meat and dairy across many regions over the summer. America is currently running low on cows. The latest data from the US Department of Agriculture paints a grim picture. Beef cattle inventory is at its lowest point since the 1970s, and total cattle and calf inventory hasn't been this depleted since 1951. Agricultural economists point to several factors: drought over the past 3 years, higher input costs, and persistent inflation. These issues are putting immense pressure on farmers and grocery retailers, and the situation is expected to worsen over the next 3 to 6 months. Consumers will feel the hardest impact. Since 2021, meat prices have risen by 21%, and dairy prices have gone up by 17%. With summer grilling season upon us, another spike in prices is likely, and supplies will become harder to find. While demand for beef remains strong, ranchers worry there won't be enough inventory to meet everyone's needs this year. So, what's causing this crisis? Blame it on the weather, among other things. Extreme weather has had a drastic impact on livestock farming. In 2023, heat waves and scarcity of feed and waters severely affected cattle farming. Many ranchers had to sell most of their cattle due to these harsh conditions, resulting in lower production this year. But wait, there's more. The recent wildfires in Texas have only added fuel to the fire, compounding the woes of an already struggling industry. Although the full impact of the wildfire is still unknown, experts believe it'll add to the setbacks caused by drought. With climate events such as La Nina in the second half of 2024, the future looks bleak for beef producers. Little rainfall means even drier conditions, further squeezing an already parched landscape. Francisco Abello, an economist at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, explains that the cost for farmers to raise and maintain cattle has skyrocketed. "We have lower production now because during the drought we sold more cattle than usual," he says. Lower production means lower supply, which leads to higher prices. Abella noted that prices for cattle around £500 are roughly 40 to 50% higher than last year. This prospect is keeping many beef producers up at night, worried about the future of their industry and our food supply. In the nation's top 10 cattle-producing states, which are responsible for nearly 60% of the country's beef production, half have reported the smallest herds on record. This data comes from an Investigate Midwest analysis of the USDA's information. Why is this happening? Well, when droughts persist year after year, livestock production suffers greatly. Grasslands which cattle rely on for food just can't bounce back quick enough, and when the rain doesn't come, ranchers are faced with some tough decisions. In some cases, they have to transport water or find alternative feed like corn for their cattle, which can really drive up costs. And let's not forget about the heartbreaking reality. Sometimes, ranchers have no choice but to cool their animals. This spring, states like Nebraska and Missouri have seen a sharp decline in the quality of their pasture lands since 2020. What's worse, the prices that meat packers are paying to beef cattle ranchers are at an all-time high. That might sound like good news, but hold on. Experts are warning that this could lead to sticker shock for us consumers, especially as demand picks up in the summer months. Another issue worrying livestock farmers is the lack of government transparency when it comes to regulating the beef industry. Texas and Colorado-based cattle rancher Shad Sullivan has voiced concerns that the US government and global agencies are attacking small meat producers by introducing stricter regulations on production, when they should be focusing on the big corporations that truly control the market. At the recent summit in Dubai, the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization released its first-of-a-kind document recommending that nations limit their consumption of beef as part of a broader effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Sounds like a step in the right direction, right? Well, here's the problem. Instead of taking aim at the big players in the industry, the US government seems to be targeting local farmers. This is putting America's food security and farmers' livelihoods at grave risk, Sullivan stressed. He believes that the market is now controlled from top to bottom. Sullivan argues that the government is implementing these regulations on those at the bottom of the food supply chain, instead of starting from the top, where the problem really lies. According to Sullivan, American consumers do not know where their beef and pork is coming from because there's no labeling. He believes they deserve the freedom to choose, and it is a liberty issue. He emphasized this during an interview with Fox News, saying, "You have to buy local, you have to buy American, you have to demand American made. We have to start supporting our producers across the country in any way we can."
Yeah, well, the first thing we can do is re-implement mandatory country of origin labeling. The American consumer does not know where their beef and pork are coming from because we don't have MCOOL. They deserve the freedom to choose, and it is a liberty issue. All of these issues go back to liberty. We can buy local.
By understanding these issues and supporting local farmers, we can all play a part in addressing the challenges facing the cattle industry and ensuring a stable food supply for the future. Because, at the end of the day, we all deserve to know what's on our plates and where it came from. On the urgent forefront of our agricultural landscape lies a brewing crisis that demands our immediate attention. John Boyd Jr., president of the National Black Farmers Association, has raised serious concerns about the financial difficulties facing cattle farmers due to the administration's new policies.
Think about these policies, these bad policies, before they go and implement them. We had the FDA last week putting tobacco farmers out of business with a menthol ban. All of these things are putting America's farmers out of business when we're faced with the highest input costs in history for America's farmers.
He emphasized that these policies are causing significant financial strain on producers. In wake of the new policies from the Biden administration, farmers like Boyd find themselves grappling with financial hardships. Instead of investing in America's beef and cattle farmers, these policies seem to exacerbate their struggles. As Boyd passionately asserts, Biden's policies are hurting America's cattlemen. The consequences are already evident in the rising prices at grocery stores, a trend that experts predict will only worsen in the coming months. In 2023, beef was sold at an average of $5 per pound, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. However, industry experts predict that the prices will rise from $5 to $9 per pound before the end of the year. Boyd warns that consumers will bear the brunt of these escalating costs as shelves across the country will grow increasingly sparse. Democratic senators like John Tester joined forces with Republicans to block the administration's decision to allow beef imports from countries with a history of cattle disease. For Tester and his counterparts, the issue isn't just about economics, it's about safeguarding America's food supply. With the recent spread of the bird flu virus from poultry to cows and humans, the stakes have never been higher. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has detected the virus in more than 200 cows, 9,000 wild birds, and around 9 million chickens across the United States. Reports of infected herds spanning states like Colorado, South Dakota, Kansas, Michigan, North Carolina, Idaho, Texas, Ohio, and New Mexico have sparked fears of a potential pandemic. Megan Davis, an associate professor with the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, emphasizes the need for vigilance and surveillance to contain the spread of this mutilating virus. In response, the USDA has mandated testing for bird flu in dairy cattle moving between states. However, the growing outbreak threatens to disrupt the entire food system, with more cattle facing premature slaughter and consumers facing empty grocery aisles. The warning bells are clear. As we head into summer, grocery store shelves could be much emptier, and preparing in advance is the best way to save money amidst looming price increases. Now, we want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about the potential rise in beef prices? Do you believe enough is being done to address the crisis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel for more.